Hello, folks, and welcome back to High Fever, your Indiana Fever basketball podcast. I am your host, Josh Barcenas, and welcome back. This is our second off-season update podcast series. We're going to be talking about some cool things today. We've got some topics for you. All-WNBA first team. We're going to talk about the WNBA expansion into the Bay Area that was recently announced, and I'm going to look at one of the first 2024 WNBA mock drafts. If you're a Fever fan, this draft is going to be very important, and we'll get around to that. Again, thank you guys for sticking around. I am going to be doing about one of these a month, every month of the off season, just kind of keeping everybody updated with what is going on around the league, and also in women's college basketball, because that's our game. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Okay, folks, here we go. 2023 all WNBA first team. Some surprises, some definite not. Let's just roll down the list. Breanna Stewart, Liberty. Yeah, right. WNBA MVP. 23, 9.3, 3.8 assists. Come on. That's just going to get you on the WNBA first team. I'm not, I kind of have no notes there. Yeah, Breanna Stewart, first team. Absolutely. What a showing, goes ahead and makes the finals, with that team. Just a really immaculate season. Yeah, there was some MVP drama, and we all remember that, but WNBA first team, absolutely. Alyssa Thomas from the Sun, second in MVP voting. Come on, single season record, triple double, and double doubles. Ridiculous season from Alyssa Thomas. I feel like the Sun were always a team that were in it. And a lot of it had to do with Alyssa Thomas. It was, kind of one of those seasons where it's like, oh yeah, Alyssa Thomas is, and she's in her 10th season, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, okay, I feel like, you don't want to even say emerging star, but I feel like she kind of put her name on the map this season. So a great season from Alyssa Thomas. A'ja Wilson, Aces. Come on. Defensive Player of the Year. Crazy stats. That team ran through A'ja Wilson, won the WNBA Finals. Yeah, A'ja Wilson absolutely deserves to be a first teamer. Dominance. Just kind of honestly dominance, and especially when that Aces team went through slumps, I feel like you never saw A'ja Wilson go through something like that. And of course she did, but it was a all-around season from A'ja Wilson. You could talk about the MVP voting, you could talk about all that, but just a season from A'ja Wilson, and absolutely deserving of the first team. Next up, Napheesa Collier on the Lynx. Fourth season in the league, and here we go. We've got a new star. We've got somebody who I think really shined in some of the toughest moments of the season. I think the Lynx, they could have been a little better, but Collier was crazy this season. Always a problem. Go back and watch any of the Fever Lynx videos that I have. Always mentioning Napheesa Collier. It was a great season. Satou Sabally on the wings. WNBA Most Improved Player. I saw Satou Sabally in person, and that was one of the most electric basketball games that I've ever been to. Satou Sabally has this city, has Dallas. She's definitely one of their stars. And when you talk about players who you think have the potential to kind of transcend the league, it's Satou Sabally for me. I think she's only going to get better. She is the heart and soul of the Wings team. Absolutely 100% deserving. I'm so glad that Satou Sabally is on this WNBA first team. And look, I think overall as a team, as the the selected teams go for the WNBA, I think it's generally pretty much chalk. When you talk about, there weren't too many surprises, and especially looking at the second team, you can kind of tell where they were thinking, where they were going. Um, and, call me crazy, I kind of have no problems with this first team. I like it. I think every player on there was deserving in some way. And for me, this is just a good list. I am, I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. And as a Fever fan, let me just say that I think that Aaliyah Boston is coming for this list next season. I think she's primed and ready. And I think this Fever team is going to be putting her in the driver's seat. So, Fever fans, if we're looking for our next first teamer, look no further than Aaliyah Boston, in my opinion, honestly, as soon as next season. Okay, let's talk expansion. Look, in the last month, the WNBA has announced their next move. It is the Bay Area. They are going to the Golden State area. Listen, Joe Lacob gets his WNBA franchise. Yeah, that's obviously great. We need expansion. The league is sometimes too good for its own good. Look, the fact of the matter is there's too much talent in this league. Great players are being cut every year. Rookies are not even getting the chance to develop. If you're not amazing your first season, you're done in the WNBA. And I don't think it should be that way. And this is their solution. They are expanding to the Bay Area. Look, I'm excited, obviously. I don't think that they look okay. Do I think that they should have went to more cities? Yes, but we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the Bay Area. Listen, the reality of the reality of it is this, guys. There isn't enough. Okay, I want to say this very delicately. The WNBA is a product that not every single city can foster and grow and turn it into a thing. And there were a lot of conversations online about where the WNBA should go, particularly Florida, and a lot of the argument was that, look, I don't think Florida is ready for a WNBA franchise. Just kind of the sad truth of it. It wouldn't flourish like it would in some of the places where they're talking about. And this Bay Area team is absolutely one of the places where it, I believe, can flourish, right? You've got fans who are going to be, Warriors fans, right? If they do tie-ins with the Warriors, like the Pacers do with the Fever, it's only going to make it even better, right? And so I think, Lacob said a lot of good things about how he wants this to be the best franchise in the WNBA. They're all about winning, which I think is a great way, to get fans excited. Maybe people who in that area are not yet interested in women's professional basketball, they're going to be a little bit more interested, and that's what you need. You need new fans. You need people who are going to, show up and develop a community and all of that good stuff. I think Joe Lacob is the right owner. I think that area is the right place. Now, I do want to talk about some of the failed expansions, particularly Portland and Toronto. First off, I think Portland is one of the cities that is probably primed up for a WNBA expansion. There is a community of basketball fans because Portland doesn't have sports like that, right? They've got the Timbers, and they've got the Trailblazers, but really that's it. And so when you think about where women's professional basketball can grow, you're thinking of places like Portland, where it's a community of basketball fans who are going to be more open-minded to going to games, going to WNBA games. And so I think Portland was a good spot to target. The problem with Portland was the Moda Center. It is going to be renovated very soon, and there is currently not enough room. And so this is a similar thing, but not exactly the same, to another place that got rejected this round of expansion, and that was Toronto. Again, Toronto, open-minded city, a basketball city. The thing, there's a couple things, right? Toronto didn't have an adequate enough practice facility. That was the holdup there. And I also think that going international with a league is a little bit more difficult than fans might assume. I'm not in the WNBA offices. I don't know all that. And I think it's easier than maybe I'm even thinking, because the NBA has done this for so long with an international. But I mean, who knows who's got passports? What do they have to figure out on that end? How does travel work? Realignments as far as divisions and all that goes. And I feel like I'm not sure if the WNBA. I'm actually, and obviously I'm sad that those cities didn't get teams, but can I say that I'm actually kind of happy that one place is going to get all the attention? Look, I think the league is absolutely prime to grow. I think there's 100% room for expansion, but am I crazy in saying that, like, if the league can focus and foster and really make the Bay Area expansion really, really good and really, really exciting and more enticing for places to build new facilities and get ready for the WNBA, am I crazy in saying that I kind of am happy that they, are focusing on one place? I don't know. I mean, sound off if I sound like a lunatic here, but like, it's probably good, Why, do one thing or two things half-ass when you can whole-ass one thing? If you know. So yeah, that's WNBA expansion. Again, this is going to be awesome. Listen, more teams in the league is only going to make the teams more interesting. 144 roster spots is just not enough for the level of talent that's coming out of college right now, and that's also in the WNBA, folks, okay? It's not the same game, right? Players are in this league longer, and when you have that, the turnover isn't as much. So, yeah, expansion needs to happen. I'm happy that it's happening, and it's going to be great. Okay, folks, let's do mock draft time. It is time. I do want to start off this segment by saying, first off, of course, we don't know how the season is going to progress. And we also, there's a thing with NIL that, like, some of these players might actually just choose to stay in college another year. Got a lot of COVID years in play, and there's injury years. It's kind of a mess, but this is ESPN's very first mock draft for the 2024 WNBA season. We're going to roll through some of the highlights. First off, going first to your Indiana Fever, Iowa's Caitlin Clark. Okay, how do I feel about this? Obviously, this was a possibility. This was maybe a probability if you've been kind of following along with how Caitlin Clark has been doing, and actually how bad the Indiana Fever were. In any case, I love this. I have always said, and I definitely have said this in my season kind of close, if Caitlin Clark can team up with Leah Boston and finally be one, a reliable scorer, and two, a distributor, at least a little bit of both. I think that's perfect. Obviously, Caitlin Clark in the Midwest is a huge star, and I think Indianapolis would 100% be the place for her to grow and thrive and have a fan base that follows her from Iowa to the WNBA. Yeah, roster construction is going to be interesting because you are probably going to have to cut a guard. And that's just like a WNBA roster thing, which kind of sucks. And unfortunately, it might be Griesberger. We'll see what happens. But I love the move. I think that the Indiana Fever are kind of ready to go. And just getting that second star, getting that true college star, it would be huge. Not to say that Leah Boston wasn't a true college star, because she absolutely was, but I'm not sure that women's college basketball has seen a player with as much pull as Caitlin Clark, and we'll talk about the other one that I think is actually pretty close to Caitlin Clark. But yeah, first overall, ESPN has Caitlin Clark going to your Indiana Fever. Okay, the second one I'm going to talk about, Paige Bueckers going to the Mercury. Okay, first off, like the move. I think Paige Bueckers might not go second, but another huge star, another star who's kind of iffy about actually staying in college, so we'll see about that. But another huge star, somebody who's got, I think, the potential to grow into a huge star. And, before Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Haley Van Lith hit the scene, Paige Bueckers was that person, the person who was going viral for her high school clips. And, you've seen the videos of Paige Bueckers, like, Paige Bueckers goes for 50 versus, whatever high school. So she was kind of that first wave of star women's college basketball player, and unfortunately she's been hurt a lot, which could be a potential downside. But I think, listen, if you're the Mercury, you kind of swing for the fences for this one. I wouldn't be mad at it, if they take her and it turns out to be she turns out, that unfortunately she's got the injury bug. But Paige Bueckers, number 2 in ESPN's first WNBA 2024 mock draft. Okay, number 3, Cameron Brink is going to the LA Sparks in this mock draft. Cameron Brink is somebody who's been balling out for the past couple years, and I think quietly, mostly because the Stanford team kind of isn't what it has been in previous years when, Stanford and South Carolina and UConn were all dominating. I think she could have had a potential to be a lot bigger than what she is, but she, there's actually that meme of her and Kevin Hart. So, I don't know. I think her name has actually kind of been growing out there in that social media world. But, yeah, great basketball player. I mean, kind of fair to say the star of that Stanford team. Absolutely. And number 3 to the Sparks, again, staying in California. Just a good move. Sparks are going to need that kind of forward play that she can provide. And so, yeah, Cameron Brink at number 3 to the Sparks. I really do like it. I think she's kind of got that Hollywood potential in her, and she's shown that, especially like social media. I actually like Cameron Brink to the Sparks. Okay, we're going to skip a little bit down the list to number 7, Angel Reese, LSU's a megastar Angel Reese, to the Minnesota Lynx. Okay, we'll talk about her in Minnesota, but and I'm not going to actually talk about the Angel Reese situation. That is a little too fresh. That'll maybe be for next month if anything real comes out of that. But listen, Angel Reese, huge social media star, maybe the biggest in college basketball. There's been a lot of buzz, obviously, with this recent thing that's been going on with her. So, yeah, Angel Reese, number 7 to the Minnesota Lynx. Now, look, okay, I don't know if you guys know, But Minneapolis is not the most poppin' American city. It might be even less poppin' than Baton Rouge, certainly. So look, I will say that maybe that fit could be a little rough, especially, with just how she likes to operate on social media and what she likes to do, and her star is continuing to only rise. I don't know. I don't think it'll be a problem, honestly. But that I thought was kind of interesting when it was the Minnesota Lynx, because I'm not sure Angel Reese is going to be super thrilled to be spending most of her time in Minneapolis, but that is sort of some of the highlights of that first WNBA mock draft. And again, totally going to change. There's going to be ups and downs. This season has already been kind of crazy.